Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever seen a horse who could talk? With your host, Louisa Barton, who really wants to be a famous rider. She really loves to ride fast. Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care.
Truth is, I have horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Enjoy the show.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. This week on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton here in the CEP's Equine Studios with dancing Pete Roda from Complimentary Horsemanship. Have you had a good week?
Oh, I have a great week. How about you?
Brill, as they say.
Brill.
Brill.
Yes, we must speak English.
British banter word of the week.
Brill.
Brill is good. We have a wonderful lineup for the show. We have Dr. Kay Ott after the first segment of news and events. We have para-dressage athlete Elle Woolley here in the studio with us. That'll be a lot of fun. She is a blast, loads of fun.
And we have Tommy Turner.
We do have Tommy Turner from Equifensa, Florida. And we have a little piece from Sean McCarthy, McCarthy Equine Dentistry. And then, of course, in the last segment, we'll have Pete's Tip of the Week, plus Ocala Dog Ranch, etc., etc. But let's start off with a few things that are going on around Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital of the world, starting with...
A Night to Remember, February 22nd.
Yes.
Benefiting Gentle Carousel.
Yes, very, very exciting. We love Gentle Carousel miniature therapy horses and all the wonderful work they do. This is Thursday, February 22nd from 5 to 8 p.m. And it is at CC Fine Arts Ocala, 3325 East Silver Springs Boulevard. If you are listening on Saturday morning on 97.3 The Sky, I'm so sorry you missed it. But it looks like the exhibition goes all the way until March 23rd, although you will have missed the special event, which Jonathan Truss is flying over from England for, and is painting a portrait of Magic, the only living, most heroic animal in the history of the world.
And then they're going to auction it.
Auctioned off.
Woo!
So, would I like to buy it? Yes, I would. But this is all a fundraiser for Gentle Carousel, and I can't think of a better cause. So it'll be a wonderful evening with some exquisite art and heartwarming philanthropy. As we welcome renowned artist Jonathan Truss, who's coming all the way from London to showcase his stunning works. Jonathan is a master in capturing the beauty and spirit of the natural world. So you do need to get by CC Fine Arts Ocala for sure. And don't forget that it's vocal. Voice of Change Animal League, Paws and Pearls, presented by Lugano Diamonds.
And that's happening February 23rd, so the next day on Thursday.
Yes, so again, if you're listening on the Sky on Saturday morning, I'm so sorry you did miss the vocal Paws and Pearls this year, but there's always next year. This is going to be at World Equestrian Centre Expo Centre number 1. And of course, this is their annual fundraiser for all of the wonderful pets, and I have a wonderful pet from Vocal. Her name is Lucy. She's absolutely brilliant. And even if you can't make this very special 8th annual event, the Fur Ball, please try, if you can, to adopt a dog or a cat, because, you know, there's a lot that need homes. So we love the outreach. Next mention.
Women's Warrior Weekend.
That's right, Pete. That means you can't go.
Oh.
By Spirit Equine Therapy. And we we were not aware how many people actually deal with sexual harassment and assault within the military and beyond. And this is actually an all-female retreat that is going to be including equine therapy, mounted shooting, trail rides, camping and bonfires, March 1st to the 3rd. And this is a wonderful event put on by Spirit Equine Therapy, and a wonderful opportunity to women just to get together and do some really uplifting things together outdoors with horses and feel good.
Contact Spirit Equine Therapy at outlook.com.
And Eric is an absolutely wonderful guy. We've had him here in the studio before. Phenomenal gentleman, and I imagine this will be a wonderful weekend.
Oh, yes.
Next, run,
Ride,
roll,
relay.
March 23rd. And this is a great cause because this is for the Greenway Trails. And for those of us that love riding, walking, and cycling on the Greenway Trails.
No, it's running, not
I,
walking.
for one, well, I would stick to just walking. But if you love the Greenway Trails, this is a wonderful event to attend. It's going to be at the Shangri-La Trailhead, I think. I hope I'm right.
Teams of 3, $75 per person.
Yep.
One person rides their bicycle, one person rides a horse, and another person runs.
And it's relay. And if you're very brave, you can do all three yourself. There were a couple of people who did that last year. It takes a lot, but lots of fun and an absolutely phenomenal event. So it's team power, supporting the Greenway Trails. Again, that's March 23rd. Run, ride, roll, relay. There you go.
All the R's.
Yes. Next mention, wonderful new barn hunt classes that are going on. Actually, Neil just told me these classes are actually full. They're actually sold out, which is amazing. But
wow.
I believe it's the beginners. Neil, you'll have to help me. Text me if I'm wrong, but I think that maybe they're both full. But I know that he is scheduling more classes out for folks because they're so popular. And we just want to mention that no rats are hurt in the process.
They're used to dogs.
That's
They're
right.
put in cages that they can't get grabbed by the dogs,
Yep.
and then the dogs go and find
they get
them.
food and water, and it's a lot of fun. And Neil does such a phenomenal job with all of his events. And of course, he'll be on later in the show with his tip of the week. And he has that absolutely phenomenal swimming pool there as well. So check out Ocala Dog Ranch. Check out there and keep an eye out for the next upcoming barn hunt classes as well as all the pool competitions, which are phenomenal. What do we have next?
Equine First Aid, May 12th.
This is fantastic. Midnight Rose Equestrian Center in Citra is holding an Equi First Aid USA, May the 12th. And Pete loves this because you are their first responder. This is because you really are the first responder for your horse. And if you don't know what you're doing and you're already perhaps in a panic, if you tend to panic, if you're especially people who are very close and attached to their horses tend to panic
Right.
and become more emotional. And you need to be ready. So you need to be prepared. And things like colic detection, vital signs, bandaging.
Pain identification.
Yep.
So you know what their signs are when they look like they're in pain.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., only $99, worth every penny.
Yes, absolutely. And I will say that even if you think you know these things, there's nothing like a refresher. So find Midnight Rose Equestrian Center on social media and check out this, and don't miss it because I think this will be a very informative opportunity. Don't forget, Larson Hay has new hours. We're going to keep reminding you. They are now open on Saturday until 2 p.m. instead of noon, and now in the afternoons they are also open until 5:30. So if you don't get off work until 5, you can get to Larson Hay now after work, which is brill. We got to take a break, but we're coming back after this, and we have Dr. Adam Kayot, what to expect when your horse is expecting. Stay with us. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Our television broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors, DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need. with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference. Horseman, are you tired of technology that doesn't fit your way of life? LipChip, built by Horseman for Horseman, is ready to revolutionize your world. The answer is in the HoofLink system. Simply implant, scan, and unlock your horse's health information. From driving to Grand Prix jumping, all horses, all breeds, and all disciplines. The future is in the integrity and transparency of all horse sports and in the safety of our horses. The future is here, and the future is LipChip. Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second segment of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the studio with dancing Pete Roeder from Complimentary Horsemanship, and Neil from Ocala Dog Ranch just messaged us to tell us that the beginner barn hunt classes are full, but they are still taking some names for the advanced class. So get signed up if you'd like your dog to do the barn hunt. Yay. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I love it. So coming up in just a few minutes, we have Dr. Adam Kayott from Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, and he is going to be talking about what to expect when your horse is expecting.
Expecting
and
what?
A foal.
Oh.
You obviously never read the book for people, What to Expect When You're Expecting? No. Okay.
Sorry, no.
So it's rather interesting because several of the things he mentioned, unfortunately, I've experienced, but it's a great segment, and if you've ever experienced a red bag foaling, it is really, really scary, and he does mention that.
What?
A red bag.
What does red bag mean?
Well, you don't know?
No, I'm asking.
Well, you'll have to tune in and listen, because he'll explain it much better than me, but I've experienced it and didn't actually know also what it was, but fortunately had a friend of mine's daughter with me who is a thoroughbred breeder, and she has been up many, many nights with her mother. So she said to me, "Oh no, that's a red bag." And I went, "What's that?" She goes, "We got to get the sack off right now, off the foals immediately, because it's not getting any oxygen." So anyway, Dr. Kayott will explain all that. But if you've ever had a red bag experience, then you know how panicky it makes you feel. So we're going to go back. We're going to go back to like what we were talking about with emergency response for your horse is like, stay calm. Yeah, stay calm. And that's actually the hardest thing, especially if you're a newbie. And I was a newbie at this when I had this experience. So yeah, and then you have those mares that like to give birth when you turn your back for 15 minutes to get a cup of tea. So we share that with you as well. So pop up for a cup of tea, come back and have a poll.
The foal picks the day, the mare picks the time.
Oh, is that how that works?
That's how it works.
So we're going to switch it up now, and you are going to hear from Dr. Kayott, and he's actually at the beautiful Florida Horse Park, possibly with my mini donkeys in the back. So enjoy. Louisa Barton here with Dr. Adam Kayott from Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, and we are at the beautiful Florida Horse Park today, and we are going to talk about what you should expect when your horse is expecting.
Yeah, right. Fun times,
yeah,
right?
so how long a horse is pregnant for? It's quite a long time, isn't it?
330 days plus or minus 30 days. So
That's way too long.
That's a long time. So they can.
I was down at 9 months.
They can give birth at 300 days. That's not very common, and those typically tend to be a little bit premature, but some of them are fine. And I've had other horses that have taken a year plus. So. Just kind of depends, but that's what, the books will tell us, 11 months, so that's how long they're pregnant for. Obviously when things start getting rolling, obviously you can have periodic checks throughout that pregnancy and checking the mare and make sure, everything seems fine. And obviously you're going to watch for discharge and that air, under the tail and discharge that's abnormal, and keep your eye out for that. Keep your eye out for developing an udder too early. Some mares will start developing an udder too early, and then they'll start leaking, and then the colostrum can go away. So you need to be aware of that. So be aware of that stuff. And then about a month before she's due to foal, we recommend vaccinating her, and that the reason behind that is that's to boost the antibodies that are in the colostrum, so that the foal gets those, and you're all set as far as that goes. And then you just sit and wait, and before it happens, when you're getting close, the mare's, vulva and tail head and all that stuff, you'll notice it's starting to elongate and relax, and obviously the mammary glands start developing, and then when she's getting really close, you'll get like that wax up, or it's like a honey, it kind of looks like a wax kind of thing on the teats that will develop. And then once that happens, birth is imminent. So nowadays we have cool little strips that are pretty good predictors.
I've used those.
They're
pretty,
not
bad.
They're pretty good predictors. So that gives you a good idea too. And then the good part about it is 90% of the time Mother Nature takes care of everything, and you don't have to worry about it too much. But
yes, I had that mare once that I stayed up with all night. I went up to the house in the morning to get a cup of tea, and by the time I had my tea and got the kids up and came back down, it was nursing. I was like, oh, my kind of foal.
So that's a good point. Once it starts rolling, it happens pretty quick. Generally when the mare starts giving birth, the initial stages can take a little while, 1 to 2 hours or something, where she's uncomfortable, she might be acting a little colicky and that sort of thing. But once that bag breaks and things get rolling, the foal should pretty much be out within 15-20 minutes at that point. Obviously, once that happens, if you're not getting tea and getting your kids ready, and you see things happening, you should have 2 feet come in, and then soon a nose, and then as it comes forward. And obviously if you don't see those things, then it's time to call your veterinarian. Certainly a huge emergency is if you see what's coming out is red or purplish kind of
Which
red,
is called a red bag,
red bag.
or
So
at
that's
least
when,
flying red bag.
that's
right.
Yeah, so that's when the placenta is actually detached from the uterus at that point. So at that point, it's a emergency, and you need to take action. You wait for your veterinarian to get there, it will be too late. So you need to break that open, because the foal at that point is not getting any oxygen through the blood supply. So that's imperative that you do that. But hopefully that doesn't happen. And then you just kind of, I'm one to just kind of let mom chill once the foal's there, and you can go in and you can, touch the foal as long as, mom's okay with it and all that stuff. And just kind of let things happen, and pretty soon, foal should be on its legs, wanting to eat something, and they'll be nosing around, front legs, back legs, here, there, everywhere, and. But just give them some time. Obviously, if the foal hasn't nursed probably within an hour or 2 of standing, you probably need to check in with your veterinarian and see what they have to say about that. They should try to get some colostrum in them within the first 4 hours. And they're able to absorb the antibodies up to about 14 hours after birth. So it's pretty important that they get that colostrum pretty early. And if you need to, then just, if they're a dummy foal or whatever, they're not figuring it out, then we can tube them with that colostrum and help them out.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You bet.
Dr. Adam Kayott with Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, our television broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch.
Faulty wiring is the leading cause of barn fires. I'm Pat with Pat Myers Electric. Equine facilities have special electrical needs. The knowledgeable and licensed team of electricians at Pat Myers Electric will ensure that you can achieve your vision for a beautiful, safe, and functional horse facility. From new construction to rewiring and updating, the Pat Myers Electric team is ready to jump in and help keep your horses safe. With a small farm of our own, we truly understand the unique concerns of the horse owner. Don't take chances. For all your current barn needs, go to patmyerselectric.com.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care seeks to be a leading international veterinary practice that provides state-of-the-art veterinary care to their patients while fostering professional relationships with their clients that stand the test of time. For 24/7 and the best in equine care, check out Peterson and Smith at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now for more information. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hey, this is Buck Brannaman. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the studio with dancing Pete Roeder from Complimentary Horsemanship. And we have a friend here with us, Elle Woolley, and we actually visited with Elle a little bit last week at the Equine Initiative at HITS, and thank you very much to HITS, Horse Shows in the Sun, for giving us an absolutely wonderful experience, and JB Golf Carts as well for tours of HITS. It was wonderful. Elle, it was lovely to run into you.
It was great to see you, as always. I'm always really happy to be in the community.
Yes, yeah, we always love to see you. So tell us a little bit of background. I know you've been on the show before, but it's been a while, so kind of catch us up a little bit to how you got into the dressage world and para dressage. Explain to our listeners and viewers a little bit about that.
Okay, so I started riding when I was a real little kid, so I grew up like that, and then I had a nearly life-ending brain aneurysm when I was 11. Left me half paralyzed. The entire left side of my body is really non-functional. And luckily through horses and riding and equine therapy, which I know you guys have talked a little bit about.
We feature that a lot.
Mm-hmm. So through equine therapy, initially I was able to regain my ability to walk and to do a lot of things. And that's kind of how I got my spice for life back, because it's something that I always really took to and really loved. So I decided I wanted to take it further. I got introduced to para dressage about 12 years ago or so. And I learned that there was a sport that I could do on the international stage, travel the world with my horse, and compete at the top level against, Olympians. And it's just been a dream ever since to make the team.
That's really incredible.
Thanks.
And you're a big time overcomer, because there's a lot to overcome when you have something that traumatic happen to you, and there's a lot of phases and stages of challenge to go through with that. I comparatively had a simple neck break a few years ago, and I know what that did to me, and that would be very small in comparison to what happened to you. So it's, to me, like, to overcome those sorts of challenges and get to where you have is amazing, really.
Thank you so much.
And actually,
Definitely.
I'm gonna quote George from Gentle Carousel Miniature Therapy Horses. Horses make the world a better place, and they really do. They remind us that the world is good, and the things that we see with therapy horses, from, you know, whether it be Stirrups and Strides, Marianne Therapeutic, Riding Association, Gentle Carousel, when we see what horses do for people, it's miraculous.
And even when I'm teaching, I see what horses can do for people.
That's right. Yeah, that's true.
There's just something about them. They make you feel something.
Yes.
That's, you know, I don't know what it is. It's really hard to put your finger on it, but like they're healing.
They are.
They are just healing, and like it's the presence of them and stuff. They don't judge you. You know, they don't look at you any different.
That's right.
They can feel your love, and it's like, it's really profound, and they're just so big, and you can get hurt from them too, which I think is an element. There's that like difficulty and danger element to it too. That's like, oh wow, you're doing something that's kind of risky, but this is really cool because it's really fun.
That's right.
Adrenaline junkie.
There
No.
you go. Tell us a little bit about your horse, because I hear when you talk about your horse, and even your horse traveling, and I can absolutely feel you just exuding the love and respect for this horse. So
I am obsessed with my horse.
That's a good thing.
So his name is Deucalion. We call him Duke in the barn, and I got Duke when he was 3 and insane. And everyone in the para community was like, what are you thinking? You have one hand. This is like a big, beefy bully of a horse. He really was. Like, he's a handful. He's a hot boy. And I was like, well, I kind of like hot boys, so what am I going to do?
Four-legged and two-legged.
Absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, we've had a long journey. He's turning 10 this year.
Wow.
And
he's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Oh.
He's a really good boy. And it's really funny. You know, I had such a tough run with him when he was 4, 5, and 6 years old. Like, I almost died off of this horse so many times. Like, he just put me on the ground left and right. Like, he was so tough for me to handle. And we had our setbacks, and things would happen. And people were like, you should just sell him, get something else. And I was like, no, it's not his fault. He's misunderstood. He's young. I'm just going to stick it out. And I did. And I'm telling you, Louisa, like, something changed in the last 6 months to a year. This horse just he got the concept of competition, and now he goes to the shows and he's like, okay guys, we got to be serious. It's time to be good, and I have to be perfect. And he puts his little game face on and he goes in there and does his job, and now he's one of the most reliable horses out there.
Really?
Literally. Like, we used to come in the show and people are like, everybody clear out, we're going to get, you know, steamrolled over this horse. And he was like really unpredictable, but something changed with him, and now he's so steady and he's so consistent.
Probably your bonding with him and your relationship, and
he
that he's
figured it out.
He can trust you.
He figured it out, you know. And this horse, he is complicated in the fact that, like, he really makes you work for his trust and his love and stuff and his respect, and he really demands it, and he will fight for it for himself. My coach and I were actually just talking about this earlier today. She feels like this year he finally let her in and was like, oh, these are my people. And it's a change that it's just been beautiful to see. It's so, so rewarding.
It's fantastic.
So let me ask you a question. Why do you ride with the sling?
That's, so my left arm is completely paralyzed. Okay. And I have broken it a time or two from falling when it was not in a sling.
Okay.
So if I fall, like, I can't control where it goes. So if I fall to the left and I fall on that side, it's going to break.
Okay.
Most of the time, because I have low bone density and things like that. So I fell off to the right one time, and I punched the ground so hard that, like, my hand exploded.
Whoa.
Ooh.
It was like every single bone in that hand was displaced. It was disgusting. So at that time, I had it in a cast and I had it in a sling, and I kept riding. And then I was like, wow, this really, like, puts it out of the way. You know, and I went to a show and people were like, look at that dumb girl. Like, she's showing off riding with one hand. And my coach had to be like, no, that's my para rider. Like, she doesn't have another arm. you know, and I was like, whatever, I don't
You're
care.
amazing.
And most people
Haters
don't
gonna
realize.
hate.
And most people don't realize dressage was for battle. You were supposed to have a sword in your hand.
I'm just doing it like
Anyways.
those guys.
Yes, that's
You
right.
know, I'm doing the traditional dressage.
You're doing the more advanced.
The reins in the one hand, and I got my sword over here, my gun, whatever. And dressage did originate from military, and that's part of the reason I love it so much.
Very good.
It's very interesting.
You've overcome so much to be so talented. And so tell us a little bit about this. So talking to you about money before this, I was just like, wow, it's a lot. And there's a big challenge. We want to definitely do a big shout out for Piranha.
Oh, 100%.
Piranha, who is a absolutely wonderful partner with both the Chamber here, with the Equine Initiative, and with the show. Wonderful friends of ours who we absolutely love. I can't say enough about what Piranha Animal Health do for this community and beyond. But you've got a great shout out for them because they have helped you in the past.
Yes. It is thank you to Piranha Horse Products that I even was able to go to the last qualifier in Wellington this year. They paid my entries for me. They sent me to Wellington, and I had a really good outing, and I cannot thank them enough. I'm so happy to have Team Piranha.
They are wonderful.
Wow.
They are wonderful. And how can we help you? Because we want to make sure you can go on and get to Paris. And in fact, you could have traveled recently, but it was such a huge investment. You could have actually gone overseas, but it's overwhelming
it's
to
really
hear the amount of money that you need to be able to.
It's really
show
an
up.
uphill battle, and honestly, what I'm seeing consistently are the athletes that are, you know, consistently on the team, or they have like the big backers, and they have, you know, one or several owners who are so interested in the story and what it represents that they want to be a part of it, and so they're covering all their costs and stuff like this. I work full-time as a real estate agent to try to contribute as much as I can to my own journey. I was recently named to the team to head to Doha, Qatar, for the Longines Global Championship Tour. And it was the first time my horse and I shortlisted for a big team like that, and it was such an honor to get invited. I was so excited. I almost crashed my car when I got notified. I was so excited. And it's really sadly I had to decline because of the cost.
Elle, hold that thought.
Yes, hold
Okay.
that thought,
We've
because
got to
are
go
coming
to the
back.
break.
Yes,
Okay.
we are. We're going to break. We're going to come right back. We have Elle, and then we have Sean McCarthy as well. We're going to do a little equine dentistry tip. So stay with us.
Cool.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Hey there, horsemen. Are you tired of technology that doesn't fit your way of life? LipChip is ready to revolutionize your barn. Built by horsemen, for horsemen. LipChip knows how you ride. If you're tired of carrying around paperwork, dealing with long trailer lines, and juggling all your horse's details while trying to compete, then the answer is the HoofLink system. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Each scan reveals everything you need to work, compete, and to protect your horses. View current health paperwork, pre-register for your next event, and even check in on your horse's health. Horsemen, let's keep our horses safe and make our lives at the barn a little easier. The future is here, and the future is LipChip. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
The Equine Performance and Innovative Centre, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centres for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specialising in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever heard of a horse that could talk? Listen to this. With your host, Louisa Barton. She's literally in love with every horse. Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. She's back in the saddle again. And now here's your host,
Pretty.
Louisa Barton. She's a Brit, she's got the gift of the gab, and her guests are fab.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second half of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the studio with Dancing Pete Roda, and we have a para dressage athlete with us and friend to the show, Elle Woolley. She's been on before, but it's been a while, and we really want to outreach to our community and beyond to help find her some sponsors to get her where she needs to be to qualify so she can be in Paris, and she certainly deserves that. She's overcome so many challenges. It's so impressive, and she just doesn't give up, and now her and her horse have got a fantastic relationship and a bond, and are doing wonderful things.
And during the break, we had a really candid talk with Elle. And we want to reach out to Gold's Gym because that's one of her sponsors, but we found out she is a big Arnold Schwarzenegger fan.
Yeah.
So if you know Arnold, this girl thinks he is the bomb and would love for him to sponsor her.
Yeah, he's cool.
So I did a little Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation.
Yeah, there you go. That's all we need. We just need an Arnold or two. So, but we definitely want to outreach because we feel like, everything from the initial injury at 11 years of age to overcoming all the difficulties you've overcome to become a serious competitor, then even having challenges with your horse and reaching that stage of real relationship, trust, and bond with your horse where you can compete and win, overcoming all those things. If all we need is money.
That's all we need is money. That's a little bit of money.
Money and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
We don't like 50 grand or something.
Yeah,
it's a
just
drop
about
in the
50
bucket.
grand.
Not
right.
that bad.
It's a lot to send horses overseas. We do have a piranha bag for you, though, full of goodies,
Oh,
because we know
goody.
you
I
love
love
piranha.
piranha.
And we also have a Horse Talk Show brush, lasered.
Yay.
So you can travel, and actually we love to get traveling stories posted with the brush.
Yes.
So anywhere you go, you can
Paris.
put a picture. Yeah, Paris, of this, and this is actually lasered at Loco Graphics here in Ocala, and has the Horse Talk
you.
Show logo on it. So those
That's
are goodies for you.
amazing. Thank you so much.
I wish I had $50,000 to give you.
And I wish I knew Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, right. So, but we're going to keep outreaching, and we're gonna put it out there that
Thank you
Elle,
so much.
Elle needs to make sure she can go on, and she's a working girl. She's not just riding, she's working her work around riding so she can keep a horse moving forward.
If anybody wants to buy or sell a house, please hit me up. I'm with Watson Realty. I'm actually really good at my job, even though I only do it to pay for my entry fees, believe it or not. But I really actually enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
It's lovely to find a great farm for somebody.
I love it.
And match up somebody with the perfect property.
It's been a great learning experience, and it's I love all my clients. It's been really fun.
I'm so happy for you. We are going to take it up really quick to Sean McCarthy. He was actually going to be with us this evening from McCarthy Equine Dentistry, and we're going to switch it over to him just for a second here with his equine dentistry tip of the week.
Hello, I'm Sean McCarthy, and here's your equine dental tip of the week. Is your senior horse losing weight? Perhaps it's its teeth. They may not be able to chew their hay as well, or their grain. Have a dental checkup done and see if their teeth are the cause.
Yeah, so that was a very cool looking. If you're on the radio, you can either watch us on Equus Television Network, or you can go to Facebook and like the Horse Talk Show, and you actually can see a very cool, interesting looking horse skull that Sean McCarthy has in his hands when he's actually talking about kind of watching out for your horse to drop feed, and especially if your horse is older and has less teeth, has lost some teeth, maybe due to age, could possibly be dropping feed. Now, there are those piggy horses who just drop feed because they eat fast, or because they're used to being in a herd environment where they're afraid their feed is going to disappear. So sometimes that is all it is. But if your horse is dropping feed and losing weight, it's definitely something that you want to get checked. And something I learned having a horse till he was 35 is that annual checkup is fantastic for younger horses, but you may need to have them checked a little bit more often when they're older. So every 6 months maybe, especially if you're seeing a problem, weight loss, dropping a feed. So that was his tip, and we are definitely going to have Sean in the studio with us in the next couple of weeks. We're also going to have some wonderful videos of him doing the mini donkey's teeth, which will be very interesting, and he kind of tells us about the things to look for and teeth that have to be pulled. And I've got Mary's tooth, I can bring it, so that's great. So we're looking forward to having Sean with us. Oh look, and we've even got, look at this, we've even got a little, if you're watching, not listening, you can actually see Mary quite contrary, having her beginning there of her treatment. And I loved the way that he kept giving them breaks.
Yes,
you know, he kept taking back off and saying, we'll give another break, that's enough, you know. And it was very, very kind. And that looks like a terrible torture device, but by the way, it's not. It's actually for their safety, and also for the dental technician's safety as well, and to keep the mouth open without it being very uncomfortable for them. But he gives them lots of breaks. Sean McCarthy, he's been doing, look at that, did you see there was a kiss? Oh. That was a kiss for Mary, but he keeps giving her a break, and he describes all the tools and things as well. It's very interesting. So we'll have that for you in the next couple of weeks and have him here in person. Al, any last things that you want to share with our viewers and listeners about not giving up? Because I feel like there's people out there who probably face this financial difficulty.
100%. I mean, it's so hard. There's just no way around it. Horses are big, they're costly, they like to try to kill themselves, it turns out. And they take a lot of care. They take like full on, you know, I have a world-renowned groom. He's incredible. I would never let my horse be around, you know, anybody just in general, but him and my coach, the duo. It's really important to have your people.
Yes. And
find like the backing and the people that believe in you. To keep striving for that next step. And you just, I don't even know. You just have to keep, my why is because of the bond with my horse. And I love, like, that me and him can go in there and have this conversation together and strive for the same thing together. Like, we really both get it, and he understands the reason we're doing it. Or not the reason, but he gets it, that it's a big thing.
Yeah. They know when it's game on.
You know, it's game on, yeah. and he puts his game face on, and having that thrill, and having like seeing the crowd and him being confident and happy, and we go in, and it's just, I mean, it makes your heart really soar, and having that connection with the horse, I think, is the number one thing. And you have to have a really strong why. You have to have the vision to know why you're doing it and why you just don't want to quit, and then you figure out a way. Like, you just figure out a way. You just can't quit.
And you're an example of that, because you've had him for 7 years, and look where you've come, and now you've got this wonderful bond. So
yes,
we love you.
Thank you.
Al Woolley, we're going to help her get where she needs to be.
Thank you.
Keep her on this path to success and this wonderful journey that she's on. We'll be back in a few minutes with none other than Tommy
the Fence Turner.
Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
My name is Dr. Natalie Solomon. I formulated Equigreen with cutting-edge science and technology alongside the passion that is represented by a lifelong love of horses. I created a product that I would trust for my horses because they deserve nothing but the best for their bodies. Horses rely on us to take care of them, to love them, to respect them. This is how Equigreen came to life. Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Does your farm need a facelift? Has the harsh Florida climate left your barns, stable doors, and fences stained? J&S Pressure Washing has a professional team who can exceed your expectations and restore your farm to its former glory. Get rid of dust and cobwebs that can cause allergies and health issues for horses, and keep your horses safe by limiting fire hazards in the barn. J&S Pressure Washing can clean your house, your barns, your fences, and your driveway, and you can count on dependable and professional services. For more information, call Stephen at 352-502-5355.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
This is Charlotte Cannon, and you are listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
You know who's up next, right?
Tommy
Defense
Turner.
So Tommy
Equifence.
Yes, Equifence of Florida. Tommy is a great friend of ours, wonderful CEP partner, great supporter of the show.
Great guy.
Literally my knight in shining armor as he rode in his wrapped truck to the rescue with his team. And well, it is wrapped now anyway. It's got the Horse Talk Show and Equus Television on it. It's really cool. But he came literally to the rescue as I had the worst fence he said he's ever seen in his life, and had to take it all down. It was newly constructed by no names mentioned, but somebody that should never be doing fence. And so he had to take the whole thing down and start over again. And him and his team, Pat and the guys, did an absolutely phenomenal job. And Isaac's going to tell me what we're talking about in this one, because he's great like that. Aren't you, Isaac?
If I remember.
He remembers.
Okay.
We're gonna be talking about fence.
We're going to be talking about fencing.
It wasn't me that did the fence.
No, it
By the
wasn't
way.
you.
It
No,
wasn't me.
No,
I didn't have anything
you
to
would
do
have
with
done a
it.
better job.
You're talking
I probably
about
would have.
the bobcat.
The Bobcat.
The Bobcat.
Oh, I love the Bobcat. I actually, if anybody's looking out for a birthday gift for me, I would really like a Bobcat.
Like a kitten?
No, like a
Are we gonna ask Arnold or John Travolta?
John
I said like a kitten?
Send us a Bobcat, please.
Pound a post in. So
When I thought you meant like a real bobcat
Oh.
kitten, I was like, oh, okay.
No, not a
I want one
pettable
too.
Here's Tommy.
Here he is.
Louisa Barton here with the Horse Talk Show and Equus Television, and I am here with Tommy Turner from Equifence, and we're going to talk a little bit of fencing equipment. This particular piece of equipment has Bobcat on it, and it's pretty tough. And actually, I'd like to learn to operate it. Tommy? Think there's a chance?
I'll have to check with my insurance company.
Oh no, never mind then.
Absolutely, we can get you taught on it.
Get me a couple lessons in.
Might be a position available for you.
It might be. It might be a good thing. Tell us about what this, with the post driver here, can do. This is a pretty amazing piece of equipment, isn't it?
So the post driver we have, it's a 2-inch stroke, 800 strokes per minute at 2100 RPMs, I believe it is. It's a breaker style, so it's not a drop weight. You'll see that a lot in the industry, where it's got a chain that circles around and picks up a big hammer weight and it falls and hits top of your post. Great, I had one for years. Started with one of those, and they are phenomenal. Some people will swear by them, and that's the only ones they'll use. They are a hair slower. The style driver we use today, we can set good ground when my crew's good. We can set a post about every 12 to 18 seconds. Yeah, it's pretty fast.
It's fast work.
It is. And the nice thing about having your post drove, other than hand dug or with an auger, we don't disrupt the ground around the post. So when the post goes in, there's no loose dirt to tamp around it. It just goes in. I guess you could say we drive the post upside down. So the large end that most people know to put in the ground when you hand dig a hole or auger a hole, you put the large end in the ground. That way when you tamp around it, it has an anchor. With a post driver, if you try and drive the large end in first, it's going to create a void from the top of the soil down to the bottom of the hole. And now your post is going to be loose because you've created a void around the post.
That makes so much sense. I was wondering why they were the other way around when you were putting them in. There you go. Makes sense.
Right. So when we turn them upside down, it creates a wedge. So now you've got the skinny end going in, and that wide end is pushing against the earth, and it's creating a wedge, and it's holding tight as it's going in.
That's interesting because in England or in places up north where there's a lot more dense soil, when you're using post hole diggers or an auger or something, I think it's not nearly as big a deal as it would be here. But you mentioned in prior segments the sand and the kind of silty ground that we have in some areas,
sugar
coastal
sand,
areas,
yeah,
sugar sand. Some areas out here have that. When you're digging out a hole, you can see a lot of movement in that sand, that shift.
They don't want to cave back in on itself. And
right. So this is amazing. This is brilliant because this really prevents that.
Absolutely.
So that's going to make posts more secure. And again, we go back to longevity, less likely of it leaning, falling. And not to say that posts cannot be dug and tamped, but just to say this is certainly a time saver and in a lot of cases probably makes them more secure. That would be a chainsaw.
That's a chainsaw. So we are building fence at the moment right now. There is construction happening during this process. Yes, absolutely.
And actually, since we're listening to that, and that is a piece of equipment, we do cut the tops off at an angle.
Absolutely. So you want a slight angle. You don't want a spear. A spear can cause problems. Seen it happen. It's not an overly abundant opportunity that happens. It's far and few in between. But if a horse does get on top of your fence, trying to jump over whatever, and comes down on a post, and that angle is cut too sharp, it's a knife. I mean, it's a spear. It can puncture, and we don't want that. But we do want enough angle to shed water off the top.
So it's not going directly down into the post.
Yep. There is arguments that have been made over years and years of cutting post tops. Now, what's right, what's wrong? My experience, I have seen non-cut tops rot faster than a cut top. And I firmly believe, and I will argue this every day with anybody, a non-cut top will dry and that core of the post will draw down inside as it dries. Creates a cup in the top of that flat post. Water can't get out of there. There's treatments that you can go around and you can put on top of the post to help prevent rot. But the cut post being able to shed the water, even when that post dries, it's going to still have an angle to it, and that water is going to be able to run off and not stand on the top of your post and create that rot.
Jumping back to this wonderful piece of equipment, did a little tree stump removal. Pretty impressive.
Probably a little underpowered for the size of stump that that was
Didn't
removed.
tell Pat that.
But we were not going to tell Pat that. No, he was determined, and he definitely. You said, I don't care about the mess.
Yes. Well, you know, somebody was going to make a mess.
Somebody was going to make a mess.
And this was here, so why
And it was
not
here.
let Equifence make a mess?
We like tearing things up.
It looked like fun.
When we're allowed to.
After I've had my lessons, I might want to try my hand at that.
Yes. After extensive lessons and a little bit of experience before you start tearing stumps out.
Handy piece of equipment to have, right? Makes
It
a
is,
difference
it is.
to get the job done.
You know what? It adds 3 extra sets of hands. You know, when you don't have to carry your material down a fence line by hand or unload from a trailer every time. You know, when we can pick up a whole bundle of post or a whole bundle of boards. You know, and these are very common today in the agricultural industry. Most fence companies are going to own one of these today. Some have tractors, and you know they work great too. But a piece of equipment definitely is an asset, an asset to the business.
For sure. Wonderful. Tommy Turner with Equifence here with Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show and Equus Television. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Not that.
Back on the last segment of the Horse Talk Show for this week, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy
Now who's
experience. That's all right. Stop it, you two. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
He's red.
We have more fun during the breaks than we do on live.
You're red.
Thank you.
Got you back.
You
If
got
you're
me
listening
back.
on the radio 97.3 The Sky, you cannot see how red Pete is, but he is beet red. Whew. Ah. So we're going to, speaking of Pete, and because complimentary horsemanship is so awesome, Dancing Pete.
Dancing Pete, tip of the week, brought to you by Complimentary Horsemanship. This tip is sponsored by WildlifeWorksLLC.com for your unwanted wild critters removal. All right, today's tip
Has
of the
Wildlife
week.
Works seen that? Brought to you by Wildlife Works. Have
Works.
they seen that?
I believe they have.
Oh, good. I love it.
She loved the raccoon falling off the roof.
Poor raccoon. No raccoons were hurt
No.
during the filming of this.
Okay, today's tip of the week is target training. So I'm a firm believer in target training. Now, it's probably not the exact target training that you may be used to from like SeaWorld and stuff like that. I like to teach the horses first to target onto our back And then I say target in front of us, target around us, that different things. And then when we're riding, I like to put gate cones and you target in the distance. So if you're riding dressage, you're riding jumping, or even if you're trail riding, your focus should always be out in the distance, not down on the ground. So the gate cones...
Because that's not where you want to end up.
Right. The gate cones tell you if I run into the inside cone, I probably changed my focus too early. If I run into the outside gate cone, I changed my focus too late. And I've had students ride these little exercises that I do with the cones way out in the distance, and they start going, you know, every time I change my focus wrong, my horse, I have to help him. But when I do it right at the right moment, everything, I don't have to do anything. I said, oh, wow, so it's not the horse, is it? So target training is really effective with your horse.
I bet you can speak to that
doing
dressage because you have to think where you're going.
I was actually just I wanted to interject for a second about target training in life, your goals. Like you have to have that target that you then make small steps to go towards. And as long as you're making a little movement every day, you'll get there eventually. It might take longer than you want to, but I mean, if anything, horses are teaching you patience. Now back to like practical target training. Are they though? But target for dressage, yes, you have to be looking up. And I mean, we all want to ride like this. I don't know why. Dressage riders, we just want
because we want to see the headset.
We want to look down. Yes, that's what I tell myself. But you don't see that in the jumper ring, right? They're all looking where they have to go, so they don't want to crash.
Right.
So in dressage, it's super, super important because your head is one of the biggest pieces of your balance. So if you're down here, your horse is going to be on the forehand. You're not going to be able to do any of the moves correctly because you're just, you want the center of gravity up and back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want to be over the center of gravity, but you know what I mean.
That makes so much sense.
So those are the inner meanings of what I tell you guys. So the tips of the week, if you go back, there's a lot more in there than what I just said. So thanks, Elle, for putting that out there.
That was wonderful.
You're welcome.
And now, the Horse Talk Show
goes to the dogs.
Goes to the dogs.
The Horse Talk Show goes to the dogs at Ocala Dog Ranch.
I'm Neil Hennessy, the owner of Ocala Dog Ranch, and this is a basic barn hunt course. Barn hunt was designed to replicate an actual dog hunting a rat in a barn. This is where we would hide the rats. They're in a tube. They'll have water and food. And most rats are pets. They're the instructor's pets, so there is no way that any harm is allowed to come to a rat. You take the tube and you would hide it somewhere in the course. Then you would bring a dog in, and the handler and the dog would walk the course looking for a rat. The rat would have been hidden by the judge, and no one is allowed to watch the judge hide the rat. And the owner comes in, takes his dog off the leash, and off they go. Your dog has to alert you with a signal that the tube actually has a rat in it. Not only do they hide tubes with rats in, they hide tubes with nothing and tubes with rat feces and bedding. And your dog has to be able to tell the difference between the rat and the other two tubes. All dogs can compete in this sport, but they have to be under 18 inches because they have to be able to go under the bales that are made to look like tunnels. Tubes can be hidden high, they can be hidden low, and it's a good sport for disabled dogs, dogs with 3 legs, old dogs, young dogs. Any dog can play, any breed can play, but the only problem is there's a height restriction. A Great Dane cannot play for obvious reasons. It's a fun sport. It's a tiring sport for your dogs. You might think, they're just walking around in a circle. How hard can that be? Well, they have to use their nose and their brain, and sometimes they have to communicate to us, and that's probably the hardest thing they got to do is tell us where the rat is. So this is barn hunt. It's fun. We run classes, and eventually we hope to be running some competitions. Again, Neil Hennessy, Ocala Dog Ranch.
By the way, that is not a rat. If you're watching, not listening, that is not a rat on Neil's shirt. That is actually a microphone that has a fuzzy windshield on it. So just letting you know. And as we mentioned before, no rats are hurt. In fact, they get snacks and drinks and everything. But it's
snacks and
great fun.
drinks.
They get snacks and drinks. Yeah, snacks and drinks are included. So we're going to mention another friend of ours, Charlotte Cannon, and the Cannon method. If you're watching, you can see her top 10 hacks to relax, and we are on number 4, and that is part your teeth.
I hope she's meaning up and down.
yeah. Not take them out and part them. Like,
here you go.
Part your teeth.
You have like a palate spreader, like.
Yeah, there you go. Palate spreader, that's it. Part your teeth. Can you do it? We can't talk when we're parting our teeth. So this is a hacks to relax, and she has 10 of these to help.
Now I'm gonna yawn.
Oh no, you're just like a horse. This is her relax, release, rewire, and win, and you can find Charlotte Cannon online and follow her, and this is the Cannon method. She is amazing, and here are her hacks to relax. There's a few things that before the end of the show I really want to mention. One of them is, I just want to put this out there to the entire horse world, because I think here in Marion County we tend to lean towards thinking that the Ocala Farm Ministry is only for the racing world, and certainly it takes very, very, very good care of the racing world and all of the farm workers, but this is the same labor pool for dressage, for show jumping, and at our equine meeting last week at HITS, we actually had Chaplain Bob there with Jackie Demerick, and the Ocala Farm Ministry does so much. And if you want to find out more, of course you can go to their website, but you can also find in the Ocala Style magazine, in the most recent edition, is supporting farm workers, and this is actually Chaplain Bob, who is a veteran. He is received the Purple Heart and served in Vietnam, and this is his wife, who actually helps all the students learn English so they can accomplish things in school. So in the show jumping world, the dressage world, and the Western world, please remember the Ocala Farm Ministry. You're welcome to join them for one of their ministry meetings and learn more about what they do for all of our farm workers.
Well, that was a fast show.
Wasn't it? Flew by. Yes. So whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital of the world, or not,
happy horsing a lot round.
Until next time. And thank you, Elle, for joining us.
Thank you
see
so much
next
for having
week.
me.